With a voice that could melt hearts and shake stadiums, Tom Jones rose from humble beginnings to global stardom. Yet behind his seemingly charmed life lay a web of broken promises, fleeting romances, and heart-wrenching loss. Selling over 100 million records, he was adored by fans worldwide, with affairs that became legendary. One even involved a former Miss World, while another left him with a son he never publicly acknowledged. In his later years, a tragic loss forced him to confront the hollow side of fame and fortune, raising the question: could even his powerful voice hide a lifetime of regrets? Stay with us to uncover the untold story of Tom Jones, a journey through love, loss, and the price of fame. When Tom Jones was born on June 7, 1940, in the unassuming Welsh town of Pontypridd, no one could have predicted that this young boy would become one of the most influential and enduring voices in pop music history. Growing up amid the rugged beauty and industrial grit of a Welsh coal mining town, Jones was surrounded by the kind of hard work, tenacity, and storytelling that would later define his musical journey. Little did his family know that their son, known then simply as Tommy Woodward, would rise to the level of stardom where women would famously throw their underwear on stage just to grab his attention. From the beginning, Tom Jones was something of a paradox. On the one hand, he embodied the working-class grit of his homeland, while on the other, he seemed destined for something grander. His journey from Wales to worldwide fame is one of resilience, raw talent, and the power of reinvention. A story as captivating as the man himself. Early life and childhood, the roots of greatness. Tom Jones was born into a close-knit family, the son of a coal miner father and a homemaker mother. Growing up, Jones found solace and excitement in music. His home was filled with the sounds of Welsh folk tunes, traditional hymns, and later, American jazz and blues. He would listen to the crooning of Nat King Cole and the lively rhythms of Little Richard, Elvis Presley, and Chuck Berry, practicing their songs in front of his family, who quickly realized that their young son had a voice that was something special. As a boy, Jones contracted tuberculosis, and his prolonged recovery left him bedridden for nearly 2 years. During this time, music became his constant companion, an escape from the monotony of isolation. He would sing along with the radio and practice his pitch and tone, unknowingly laying the foundation for his future career. After recovering, he had a newfound zest for life, and his passion for singing only grew stronger. Jones's teenage years were a mix of youthful ambition and responsibility. At the tender age of 16, he married his high school sweetheart, Linda Trenchard, who was pregnant with their son. Determined to support his family, Jones worked various day jobs, from laboring on construction sites to factory work. But despite his full-time responsibilities, his dreams of becoming a singer never faded. In the early 1960s, Tom joined a local band, Tommy Scott and the Senators, adopting the stage name Tommy Scott. Together, they played gigs at local pubs, clubs, and working men's clubs in Wales, steadily building a small but loyal following. Although the Senators were popular locally, they struggled to break into the bigger music scene that was exploding across the United Kingdom at the time. But Tom's unique style, an electrifying combination of rock, soul, and blues, set him apart. Unlike the polished British acts inspired by American pop, Tom had a raw, animalistic quality to his voice that captivated audiences. It was only a matter of time before he caught the attention of someone who could see his potential. In 1964, a talent scout spotted Jones during a club performance and introduced him to Gordon Mills, a former singer who had transitioned into management. Mills recognized Jones's extraordinary voice and stage presence, and he believed he had found a star. He convinced Jones to move to London and signed him to a management contract. Mills, ever the strategist, decided that Tommy Scott wouldn't do for a name. He needed something with more edge. The manager chose Tom Jones, a reference to the classic British character who was both a lover and a rogue. Mills also realized that Jones's powerful, charismatic style would set him apart in a music scene dominated by the clean-cut Beatles and Rolling Stones. Unlike the nice boys image that dominated British pop, Jones had a tough, passionate quality that felt genuine and electric. It's not unusual. The song that changed everything. In 1965, Gordon Mills pulled some strings and arranged for Tom to record It's Not Unusual, a song written by Les Reed and Mills himself. The song, with its catchy melody and brassy, upbeat tempo, seemed tailor-made for Jones's powerful voice. When it was released, the song shot to the top of the UK charts, and suddenly Tom Jones was a household name. The track's blend of pop, R&B, and Jones's sensual delivery captured listeners' attention like nothing else. It's Not Unusual wasn't just a song. It was an anthem that announced Tom Jones's arrival on the global stage. With this track, Jones crossed over from the local scene to international stardom. The song's success in the United States led to performances on shows like The Ed Sullivan Show and The Hollywood Palace, where American audiences fell under his spell. Following It's Not Unusual, Tom Jones became unstoppable. He released a string of hits, including What's New Pussycat, written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, Green Grass of Home, and Delilah. Each song showcased a different facet of Jones's range, from the playful and flirty to the heartbreaking and intense. His music videos and live performances became spectacles of energy, passion, and charisma. Women flocked to his shows, throwing underwear and hotel keys on stage, a scandalous yet endearing ritual that became synonymous with the Tom Jones experience. With his newly achieved fame, Jones relocated to Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. There, he honed his performance style in the iconic showrooms of the Vegas Strip, performing alongside legends like Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra. For nearly a decade, Jones was a permanent fixture in Las Vegas, developing a reputation as one of the most charismatic entertainers of his generation. He even had his own television show, This Is Tom Jones, which ran from 1969 to 1971 and cemented his star power across the Atlantic. Reinvention and survival in the 80s and 90s. As the music industry evolved, many of Jones's contemporaries struggled to keep up, but Tom knew that reinvention was the key to survival. During the 1980s, he experimented with new sounds, blending his trademark style with contemporary pop and rock influences. In 1988, he collaborated with the synth-pop group Art of Noise on a cover of Prince's Kiss, which became a hit and introduced him to a new generation of listeners. The 1990s marked yet another turning point in Jones's career with the release of Reload in 1999. This album featured duets with a range of popular artists, including Robbie Williams, The Cardigans, and Mousse T. The track Sex Bomb was an unexpected success, making Jones relevant in clubs and among younger fans. By embracing collaborations and the trends of the day, Tom Jones proved that his appeal could transcend generations. Personal and professional scandals. Tom Jones's career has spanned over 6 decades, and along the way, he's encountered his share of personal and professional scandals, though these rarely eclipsed his popularity. Extramarital affairs and the love child scandal. One of the most defining aspects of Tom Jones's personal life, especially during his peak years, was his reputation as a ladies' man. Jones was open about his extramarital affairs, claiming that he had hundreds, perhaps thousands, of romantic encounters while on tour. His allure and charismatic stage presence drew audiences in, and the devoted fans who flocked to see him perform were as much a part of the legend as his voice. Female fans would famously throw lingerie, hotel keys, and love notes on stage, a ritual that became so widespread it was almost expected at his concerts. Jones's openness about his affairs may have been shocking, but it didn't seem to affect his fan base negatively. In fact, it solidified his image as a bad boy of pop, a heartthrob whose magnetism was impossible to resist. This honesty, however, had consequences at home. Jones married his high school sweetheart, Linda Trenchard, when they were both just 16. Despite the frequent infidelities, Linda chose to stay by his side. Their marriage, lasting until Linda's passing in 2016, was often described as complicated but enduring. The most publicized consequence of his affairs came in 1987, when an American model named Catherine Berkery claimed that she had a brief affair with Jones, which resulted in a pregnancy. The story quickly caught the attention of tabloids, especially because Jones initially denied being the father. Berkery filed a lawsuit, and a DNA test proved Jones's paternity in 1989, making him legally recognized as the father of her son, Jonathan Berkery. Despite the evidence, Jones continued to distance himself from his son, offering financial support but no personal involvement. The lack of a relationship between Jones and Jonathan has continued to make headlines over the years, with Jonathan reportedly struggling in adulthood, even experiencing homelessness. In recent interviews, Jones expressed regret about his treatment of the situation, admitting he should have done more. His choice to remain uninvolved in his son's life became one of the few lasting regrets of his career, and it has added a note of controversy that colors his legacy to this day. The complicated marriage with Linda Trenchard. Tom Jones's marriage to Linda was a source of fascination for both fans and the media. Despite Jones's reputation as a womanizer and his repeated public confessions about his numerous affairs, Linda stayed with him for over 5 decades. Their relationship was complex. Tom often described her as the love of his life and his true north, but he also acknowledged that their marriage was far from traditional. Linda was famously private, preferring to avoid the spotlight and rarely appearing with Tom in public. Her decision to stay with him, even amid his indiscretions, puzzled many. Jones has spoken about their relationship in terms that suggest a deep bond rooted in their shared past and the difficulties they overcame together. Linda was said to be deeply independent and self-reliant, qualities that likely contributed to her ability to live separately from the glamorous, often chaotic world of her superstar husband. However, Linda wasn't immune to the pain caused by Tom's lifestyle. At one point, she became so upset by rumors of his affairs that she reportedly hit him in a fit of rage, a moment Jones admitted in later interviews. Over time, they settled into a sort of understanding, one where Linda accepted Tom's public persona while maintaining a private life away from the spotlight. However, Linda wasn't immune to the pain caused by Tom's lifestyle. At one point, she became so upset by rumors of his affairs that she reportedly hit him in a fit of rage, a moment Jones admitted in later interviews. Over time, they settled into a sort of understanding, one where Linda accepted Tom's public persona while maintaining a private life away from the spotlight. Her death in 2016 from cancer marked the end of an era for Jones, who spoke publicly about how devastated he was, expressing regret for some of his past behavior. This complex relationship was one of the enduring mysteries of his life, adding depth to his public persona as both a heartthrob and a husband. The sex symbol persona and his stage antics. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Jones's stage performances were bold and unabashedly sexual. His pelvic moves, tight-fitting clothes, and the passion he brought to each song made him a sensation. Women were drawn to his rugged good looks and powerful voice, and his performances became spectacles filled with an electric, almost frenzied energy. In contrast to other British artists of the time, who often maintained a more polished and proper image, Jones fully embraced his reputation as a sexual icon. This wasn't without controversy. The ritual of women throwing their undergarments on stage became a signature part of his act, and the media both celebrated and criticized him for it. This overtly sexual persona set him apart from his contemporaries and solidified his bad boy image. He was sometimes criticized for being too provocative, especially in conservative circles. But Jones never seemed apologetic. He fully leaned into the image, even stoking it with cheeky comments and suggestive gestures. At the time, such behavior was groundbreaking. Today, it might not seem scandalous, but back then, it was daring. His willingness to embrace sexuality openly in his performances made him a pioneer in breaking down barriers between artist and audience. The daring nature of his act became part of his charm, an authentic part of who he was, and a rebellion against the social norms of the time. Outspoken criticisms of the music industry and other artists. Tom Jones has never been one to hold back his opinions, and over the years, he has made candid comments about the state of the music industry and certain artists, which sometimes landed him in hot water. Known for his unfiltered style, Jones has voiced criticism about modern pop music, which he feels often lacks the soul and authenticity he values. He has criticized the over-reliance on technology, auto-tune, and the cookie-cutter production styles of much of today's music. At various points, Jones has even commented on his peers, offering blunt assessments of their music and public personas. While these remarks have occasionally sparked backlash, they've also reinforced Jones's reputation as someone who values artistry and genuine talent over industry trends. His candidness has made him a polarizing figure among younger artists and fans, but his statements have often resonated with his long-standing fanbase, who appreciate his no-nonsense attitude. The Vegas persona and allegations of gambling. In the late 1960s, Jones became one of the highest-paid performers in Las Vegas, where he established himself as a fixture in the city's entertainment scene. The Vegas lifestyle, filled with opulence and high-stakes glamour, meshed well with his persona. He was rumored to be a heavy gambler, enjoying the adrenaline rush that came with high-stakes games. However, Jones later downplayed these rumors, claiming that while he enjoyed gambling, he never let it consume him. The Vegas residency only added to his larger-than-life image. For nearly a decade, Jones was synonymous with the city, playing sold-out shows at the Flamingo and other famed hotels. The glitz and glamour of Vegas suited him, but the association with the city's wilder side, the gambling, the nightlife, and the culture of excess, added a hint of scandal to his reputation. While he has since said that he left the casino tables behind, his time in Vegas remains one of the defining chapters of his career. Financial complications with manager Gordon Mills. Gordon Mills was instrumental in shaping Tom Jones's career, guiding him from a local talent in Wales to an international superstar. Mills crafted Jones's image, selected his songs, and handled his business affairs with shrewdness and vision. However, after Mills's death in 1986, Jones discovered that his finances were not as well managed as he had assumed. While he never publicly accused Mills of any misdeeds, it became apparent that Jones hadn't had full control over his earnings. After parting ways with the Mills estate, Jones took a more hands-on approach to his business affairs, regaining control over his brand and career. This financial shift allowed him to further reinvent himself and pursue new opportunities without the constraints of past contracts. The experience served as a reminder of the risks involved in trusting others with one's financial future, especially in an industry as unpredictable as music. Sir Tom Jones, now 84, has dealt with several health challenges over recent years. In 2022, he underwent his second hip replacement, having previously replaced his left hip in 2017. This second surgery, according to Jones, was essential due to joint wear and tear that left him in considerable pain. Although he was initially hesitant to interrupt his tour for the procedure, he ultimately prioritized his mobility and well-being. Post-surgery, Jones reassured fans on social media, enthusiastically stating, "Papa has 2 new hips now," and confirming he was recovering well and undergoing physical therapy. Additionally, Tom Jones has adapted his lifestyle to improve his health. Over the past few years, he's embraced a paleo diet, avoiding processed foods and alcohol in favor of lean meats, vegetables, and nuts. Jones also engages in inversion therapy, which involves hanging upside down to promote circulation and relieve joint pressure, a unique choice that he believes enhances his overall health. Despite these adjustments, Jones has no plans to retire, still appearing as a judge on The Voice UK and performing on his global tours. His determination to continue entertaining showcases his resilience, even as he manages age-related health issues.